shit, Hollywood Vic is here. It's official. We pod now.
Is Dion good? What the fuck's going on?
She just joined, I think.
Look, she jumped in right when you was talking shit. What's going on?
I said, is Dion good? What the fuck is going on?
Hollywood Vic. We in the building.
Why you hiding your dreads, Dion?
Florida, what'd you say?
I said, why you hiding the locks?
Because they were on my neck, and I don't know. When I get in the house, I'll, get comfortable, I guess. Take them up off my neck. Yo, did y'all see that Florida had 4,000 COVID?
That shit is wild.
Seriously?
4,000?
Damn.
And this week alone, we had like a record 2,000. It started with 2,000 like last week, and then it went to 2,500. Then it was 2,700. Then it was like 3,300. Yesterday was over 4,000.
Wow.
These numbers are getting out of control, and they like I said, they so good at distracting everybody right now with all the other bullshit. They're not even noticing like the hot spots, like even like Florida, Los Angeles too, California. The numbers keep steadily rising, and people are dropping like flies.
People are noticing. You know what the problem is in this crazy ass country right now? Half the population is like, you believe that shit?
Right.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
That's the biggest problem. Half the country is like, you believe that shit? You know what I'm saying? So like people don't know. It's not that people don't know. People don't know what to believe anymore, man. You got half the people. Listen, let me tell you something, motherfuckers. You got motherfuckers sleeping on the sidewalk to wait in line for a fucking maniac like Donald
fucking
Trump.
Moron.
We are fucking fucked. When I tell you, that's motherfuckers with all that hate in their blood telling you that we basically, politically, motherfuckers got suicide vests in the streets, and we ain't ready for that.
That's
legit.
5,000 people.
Exactly. They sleeping in the fucking street, waiting in line for that motherfucker.
They was sleeping in the fucking parking lots and shit.
Do you wonder? No one would ever sleep for Obama. No one would ever sleep for any other politician. So what that means is, motherfuckers done underestimated. I know I did what these people are willing to do. So Biden ain't got a fucking chance.
Nope.
Let me tell you right now.
Nah. And look, right after Juneteenth, let's point out all them black people. I see you motherfuckers. I seen y'all rallying behind Trump at his little shit today. I seen all you niggas in the MAGA hats looking stupid as fuck. And this the shit I'll be talking about. You fucking people piss me off.
And he was saying some racist shit. Did y'all?
And they was cheering.
And they were cheering for it.
Yep, clapping for him and everything. Hell yeah.
He hit all the key points. Obama ain't shit. Obama ain't do nothing. Joe Biden got dementia. the MS-13 is coming over here to kill everybody. He hit all the key points.
And I'm a free thinker. I don't side with any Democrats or any Republicans. And look, all this, you should not be out there if you black supporting Trump. That you are a goddamn coon if you do that shit. I'm sorry. If you out there in your MAGA hat, I like I say, I'm with the free thinking. I'm with the say how you feel, what you really feel. But if you out there supporting that cat like that and gassing them up, and you got black and brown skin, you need to be smacked.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I got people that I know from my hood that been through the things that we've been through together. Like, I've seen them, they've seen me, and those motherfuckers supporting Trump over Biden. And these are motherfuckers that I know, like I'm telling you, bona fide street people that, I love them because they've done things for me that, most people would never do. And those motherfuckers are like, yo, fuck Biden, we going to try. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do with that. Like, shit is crazy. And these are people that I grew up with that I know they not racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
y'all
know
are
for
really,
a fact.
y'all are really angry with people for voting with Trump.
I'm not angry at
Absolutely.
anybody.
I'm
It's
angry at
not
it.
angry that they
I'm
vote
angry
for
at
Trump.
it.
Is that they
I'm not angry.
feel comfortable enough to have a man who shits on people because of their race. I can deal with
Exactly.
anybody who disagrees with me politically, but how the fuck you disrespect me as a human being, and then you think I'm supposed to turn around and stand there and be okay with it? That's what I don't understand. It's not even about politics.
This is beyond politics.
It really is.
This was beyond
I
politics
agree.
when he got
I
elected. Like,
agree.
it's one thing if I disagree with your policy on fucking infrastructure or fiscal policy or some shit like that, but we're talking about lives. We're talking about the livelihood of people that directly relate to me, and I personally just can't support somebody that's just against that so vehemently that they're going to go and put this motherfucker in office. I can't support that. Can't. So I'm mad at it. I'm mad at it.
Politics aside, for me, it's simple. Is this motherfucker don't like black people? So to me, you can be a free thinker, but for you to go out there and actually rally with the man out there with your MAGA hat, cheering for every word he said, echoing the shit he said, you're a fucking sellout.
And see, for me, honestly, this is how I feel. I share that sentiment for both of those candidates that they have in place. That's why I refuse to vote for either one of them, regardless of what the outcome is, because I can't see myself voting for someone who, clearly, point blank, has disrespected people of color, both the Latino community and the African American community. Or the
Come on.
So let me transition that a little bit in terms of, I guess, some of the leadership that we look at, within our culture and within our means or so. Some of the woke celebrities of such. Throughout all of this political chaotic mess, throughout all of the rioting, throughout all of the other shit that we've gone through, there's been a number of celebs that have spoken out, but there's been a lack thereof from others. Some that we've expected to kind of be at the forefront of this movement, so to speak. And I guess I wanted to ask you guys, is that problematic for you? Do you look for leadership from some of the celebrities that you look for? And I know recently J. Cole and No Name had a bunch of back and forth that kind of illuminated social media at large. So, like, how do you guys feel about that, and just really entertainers speaking out on issues and leading things in general? How do you guys feel?
Well, I have a strong opinion about that, honestly. I've been saying it for a while, actually, and I've had debates actually with Vic before about this, because I believe that people say you shouldn't put the pressure on celebrities to speak about issues like this. My problem is when you're the type of celebrity that made yourself accountable for situations like this, as far as speaking out, when you built your career on speaking about situations like this, particularly in like rappers like J. Cole, like Kendrick Lamar, who two people I'm personally disappointed in that they haven't said anything. If you built your career talking about black struggles, racism, things that's going on right now, and to actively see it in real time, and you guys are not speaking about it, it's hard for me to understand. And it's not just those two rappers. It's actually, I would say 90% of the rap game, the Jay-Z's. Even though he does stuff in the background, I still think at times like this, you should be more vocal in the public about this. We speak about influence a lot. These guys have major influence that we're mentioning right now, and they're silent. And even though if they feel they're not qualified, J. Cole said he feels he's not qualified, that he's not basically smart enough in a sense to speak on these things. I disagree, because you were very eloquent in those raps. You were a genius when it comes to spitting those bars. So why can't you just say something? Just give people hope. Just speak about what you're seeing. So I don't accept those excuses from those people. I don't accept those that I'm just a man. I'm just let me be.
Well, Chris, I feel you. I think I think that thought process is a little misguided, and I'm gonna go into why. So I don't know if you guys have seen Dave Chappelle's special on YouTube as of recent, but he essentially details what's going on as the people are speaking and they're speaking loudly. And who would he and some of the other people that obviously have a lot of influence be if they're going to speak out over what the people are doing? The people are leading this. The people are out here doing this.
That video, I would just like to say, was very special. Shout out to Dave Chappelle for always being the person that speaks up on issues like this. But that was the one thing in the video that I disagreed with, because he was basically being a hypocrite in the stance of, he said that, but look what he was just doing. He's speaking about it.
He was doing it after the fact of it occurring. He was allowing the public at large to do what they're doing, and he's commentating on what they're doing rather than him suggesting what they should do.
He let it breathe.
Yeah, he let it
breathe.
And I think that we look for too much leadership from entertainers. Entertainers are here. I understand that they have a license to speak. I understand that they have responsibilities, but I would much rather hear from a lawyer, a doctor, or someone that's within a community that has influence in it than an entertainer.
I think when you say entertainer, that's too much of a broad brush. The problem is the people that's being targeted right now are the people who we do consider quote unquote woke. These are people who built their careers on being woke. So if you built your career on being woke, you can't just pick and choose when to be woke. You can't just be woke when you get sales and money.
I think we live in a society where speaking out gets unfortunately marginalized as being active. Just because you're speaking out doesn't make you active, and just because you're quiet doesn't mean that you're not active. In the case of some of these entertainers and such, just because they're not speaking out doesn't mean doesn't mean that they're not doing anything. In addition to that notion, I think the fact that you're expecting people that are, I guess, indoctrinated in a certain terminology of being woke to be leaders is a far cry from actually happening. These guys speak out on things. That's cool, but that does not make them leaders.
But the thing
you want a leader, that's something that's far stronger than someone speaking out on an issue. Leaders,
you put yourself in this position. That's my problem. We didn't put you in this position.
You
put yourself in this position.
We consumed their music. We consumed their whatever means of media they actually put out. We consumed it, we liked it, and we put them on a pedestal. And now we're expecting them to be leaders. And they're not.
Hold on. Let me interrupt. And I'm gonna do the rare thing and agree with Chris.
What?
They market themselves as such. So in the case of the J. Cole's, right? I agree with Chris. If you market yourself as woke, as the leader of a black community, as always talking about what's important for these kids and pointing out the social disadvantages that we have, right? You talk about that shit all the fucking time. If that's your community, it's why people that don't like J. Cole, because he talks about that. If that's your bag, let me finish. If that is your bag, and when those things happen in real time and you ain't got shit to say, are you a fucking false prophet?
Okay.
I think you gotta understand, man. When you're doing those things and moving that way, and you're talking to people in that way, and when these things happen and you stop talking to the people, I think there is something to be said for that. There is something to be said for that.
If we're talking specifically about J. Cole, J. Cole is a hermit.
Anyone in that genre,
Kendrick does not speak out in that manner. They disappear for long periods of time, and then they put out music. When they speak out on things, it's through music. They are actually active and they have been at the riots, they have been at the protests, but they don't do it in a way that is necessarily conducive to getting attention. And in addition to that, when you're speaking out on things, that does not mean that you're a leader of what's going on.
But you would reach more people. You can use your platform to magnify that.
But now you're saying what he could do with it. And if he's not the type of person that feels comfortable doing that, the real question is, why would you want somebody who doesn't even feel comfortable doing it, who's telling you, I don't necessarily know that I'm the smartest person to do it, and now you want him to say something. Now here, you got to think about this. As an entertainer, he knows that if he opens his mouth, he's fucked either way.
Exactly.
He's fucked either way. Because 50% of the people are going to love it and 50% are going to tear him down. Look at his song. Right?
It creates divisiveness.
He did the song and he's responding and they're ripping him apart and no one has really heard what he said. I think
the song really wasn't that bad.
And it wasn't bad.
I didn't believe it was bad.
That shit had jewels in it, if anything.
Yeah. I thought
he was a rapper. You can't have that fear. You can't have that fear as a rapper because when you were spinning those intelligent woke bars in your raps, you weren't a hermit then. But I get it. But I get it. If he's a hermit and he doesn't like speaking about these issues, okay, if you speak through music, then where the fuck has your music been? Why haven't you put out a song? Why did you only put out a song because somebody said something and you responded to it what happened to be a black woman? Where has your music been? Where has your songs been about this shit?
Because what he has explained in that song itself is that he does not feel equipped to speak on this issue in a leadership
speaking about this shit before.
That's my problem. But listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not equipped to speak on the issue. He's not equipped to speak on the issue in a way that leads in a leadership format. Just because of the fact that he has an audience, you guys are confusing people that are famous and people that are leaders. He is famous.
Not the same thing.
He is not necessarily, and he's admitting to it, that he is not a leader.
Because a leader would have been here before the shit popped off. He's telling you that. He's telling you, if I was a leader, then 6 months ago, I would have been leading you then. So you're looking for him to respond to something. Anybody can respond.
Let me ask you, Chris. Let me ask you, Chris. If you put out let's say you rap and you put out a song and it blows the fuck up and it's about social commentary and you say, hey, this works. And you continue to talk about what you're passionate about, which is social commentary. Does that mean that you're a leader in everything that you just spoke about and that you have to take the mantle going forward and you're not equipped?
If I built my career off of this, yes. And that's what I don't accept from J. Cole. I don't accept those excuses from him.
So you want him to be mediocre at something that he's not good at rather than allowing the people that are out here doing the right things and are leading the cause
That's bullshit.
to do what they're doing.
That's bullshit
I have
because
a question.
all of a sudden, he's not good at it. The reason people are mad at him because they were looking to him already as a leader. He was a leader all the way up until this moment.
I'm sorry.
Before
when has
this moment happened.
What exactly has he led?
You're not going
What
to get away
exactly
with that
has he
either.
led?
Because I've seen you talk about J. Cole before. You spoke of him in manners. You never called him a leader.
Not in the leadership format.
As him as a leader.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with. I don't look at any artist as a fucking leader of mine.
And I said we disagree about that, Vivek.
What I'm saying
you can look at Killer Mike. You can look at Killer Mike as
because Killer Mike
he's a leader.
That mantle.
Different.
He takes
Like every artist, right? But I don't think because you're an artist and you talk about a subject, you're anointed a leader. Those are behaviors. Like you got to display those behaviors. Killer Mike is a fucking leader because number one, he seeks that throne.
He practices what he preached.
He puts his face in the fan.
He chooses.
But no, it's not his practice what he preached. He has the attributes, the qualities, the talent to be a leader. Not everyone could do that. Just because you could write bars don't mean that you can lead fucking people. Let me ask you this, Chris. Think about it like this. Hear me. If this podcast blows up, and it blows up because people are clicking on the shit that we talk about that's political, and it starts gaining super influence, right? Are you now a fucking political leader because we got 50 or 100,000 views?
That's different. Because
How
I'm
is
not,
that different?
How is that
completely
different? Because I
That's
just asked
completely
you that
different.
same shit in a song format, and you said absolutely. So why is it different now? Because it's politics.
Because J. Cole is actually in those streets. He's been in those streets at Ferguson and stuff like that. So it's not like we're just putting this responsibility on him for no reason. He put himself in these positions because he had done stuff like that.
But he didn't do it in a leadership role. He was a part of a cause.
So J. Cole was out there. So when J. Cole was out there, he had all those people follow him around like Jesus. You telling me that they looked at that man as a leader?
Just because they look at him as a leader does not make him a leader.
So
He's
if you put yourself in position to be looked at as a leader, like LeBron James does often, do you not hold that accountability?
By going to a riot or a protest, how are you putting yourself in a position to look like a leader? He's a part of a cause that is bigger than himself. And if that brings attention by virtue of him being there, then great. But that does not mean that he's leading a cause. There are people right now that are out there leading what is going on.
Chris, you're mistaken. Hold on a second. You're mistaking attention for lead. He's a fucking entertainer. Of course they're gonna follow him.
I disagree.
Let me ask you a question. If you're in a mob of 100 people and your boy Willie says, "I'm gonna walk this way, everyone follow me," and Kendrick Lamar shows up and he walks this way, who the fuck can follow him?
Okay, this is
Your
why I
boy
disagree with
Willie,
that.
who's a leader, or Kendrick Lamar?
Because you guys
Kendrick
are painting this.
Lamar. Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar all day, but you guys are painting this picture as all entertainers are the same. So what I'm telling you is, J. Cole built his career on this.
We just said Killer Mike is different.
If J. Cole implies go to a rally, people are going to go around J. Cole because they look for him for that content, the person that he's showed us who he is, who he told us through his music. J. Cole's in Plies.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
Plies. I don't know. Yeah, Plies.
Well,
they're going to J. Cole because he's more popular.
Yeah, J. Cole is a more popular rapper.
Yeah. I guarantee you. Listen, I guarantee you. I would do it.
Plies says some real shit, by the way.
But not
he does, but compared to J. Cole,
people follow Plies.
But my point is, people are gonna follow who's more popular. You put J. Cole and you put fucking 6ix9ine. Who are they following? Is 6ix9ine a fucking leader? You're putting the
at a Ferguson rally, at a rally. They're going with J. Cole. They're not going to follow 6ix9ine at a rally, and that's the point. I'm glad you said that because this is the point I'm making. The fact that you even just put them in the same category, they're going to follow J. Cole if you're at a rally, just because that's the person, the type of entertainer he built his character off of. If they're gonna do some wild shit, they're gonna follow somebody like 6ix9ine. But just some of social issues, they're gonna look to J. Cole. It's not about who's more popular.
Because he's an entertainer. Who else?
Why are we as a people? Why are we as a people trying to make leaders out of entertainers that have made it clear that they're not leaders? Killer Mike has made it clear.
And you want me to tell you the dirty secret?
He wants to be a leader.
I'm gonna tell you the
J.
dirty
Cole is
secret.
not. Don't lead.
In my opinion, envy. Deep, fucking shitty, dirty little envy. That's why. Them motherfuckers is rich while they ain't out here running around here. But let me ask you this. If they was broke, would anyone give a fuck?
No.
It wouldn't matter if you didn't broke. If
Jay-Z was broke, would you even give a shit if he talked about politics? It's the sole fact that he's a billionaire that you feel that he has to.
He built his fortune off of talking about social issues.
J. Cole built his fortune off of vulnerability.
This is the funny part. This is the funny part. Just because he just said now this week that he doesn't want to be responsible for this, that he's not equipped to speak on this, you guys are echoing that. But before this week has ever happened, he said that you guys have the exact same You had the opposite.
No, that's not true.
No, that's
because
not
we
true.
said there's some posts in on social media where I said I personally don't like the narrative when anybody expects a celebrity to speak out just
Exactly.
because something's
So
happening.
who has
Exactly.
ever referred to J. Cole as an
You
entertainer?
could archive my shit.
He's an artist. I don't call him entertainer. He's an artist.
I have never seen any of you guys in particular call J. Cole an entertainer. I've never seen anybody.
I call him an artist.
You've never seen me call. You never seen me call him a civil rights activist either. What's your point?
I've never called him a leader.
So you're telling me people like J. Cole that rap about stuff like that, and Kendrick Lamar, who's doing King Kunta videos, you don't hold them accountable for not speaking up in real time when this stuff happens?
I don't know.
If they choose to, I commend them. If they don't want to,
I don't hold it against
them.
I think no. Let me. I'm gonna differentiate because I have a different opinion. I think they should, but am I going after them and chasing them down? No. But I think as a writer, man, as a writer of things that happen in this lifetime, as a writer, as an artist, your art should reflect what's happening in the real. So in my opinion, I understand they walked and they were here and there, and that's cool. They did more than I did. I'm just keeping it real, man. I'm not being a hypocrite. They did more than I did. I can't shit on them. But my point is, as an artist, like if that's what you do, it'd be nice. If you're a poet, drop some poetry on what's going on. If you're a spitter, spit some shit on what's going on. I think that holds true. And those two are the biggest poets in our community right now. They're the best at it. So in my opinion, yeah, they missed an opportunity. And I take it that way. I'm not saying fuck them, they ain't shit, but they missed an opportunity. Because in a time like this, the best of your best people, black and brown, who do what they do best, need to seize these moments. That's how I look at it.
Okay, now I'm gonna move on to the next topic, but I'm gonna allow Chris and Eric. I'm gonna allow Chris, and then I'm gonna allow Eric to say their last comments, and then we're gonna move on to the next
Eric
topic.
talk, man. Let Eric talk. He ain't said nothing.
Yeah. So Eric, go for it.
Come on, Morpheus.
I hear some shooting shit in the background.
Yeah, what the hell is going on?
My bad, that's me. That's fireworks. My bad. They ratchet around here.
All right.
Little firecrackers.
Okay. Eric, I'm gonna let you go.
So it's two groups of people I want to talk about real quick. So what the young lady said and J. Cole took offense to. Now, I don't think people like J. Cole should have been a target of what she was saying. I feel like she should have been more specific. And there are a group of celebrities that I feel like she should have targeted instead of leaving it so broad for anyone to interpret it. These two groups, one person in particular, and then I'll move to the last group, but President Obama.
Oh shit.
Here's a guy who
here comes the hate.
Started, no, here's
hold
a guy.
Hold on, let him finish.
Here's a guy who started as a civil rights attorney at a civil rights practice. And I feel like we have a lack of leadership in the black community as far as corralling together. If it's one person who could probably, at a time like this, get us to behave a certain way, it will probably be Barack Obama. And I'm talking about the African-American population in general. And with all of these things that are going on, the violation of civil rights and human rights, I would think that he would inject himself a lot more into the mix right now. All right, but the second group I think is even more important, has been missing, and their involvement is more important than, let's say, of someone like Obama. But where the fuck is the Creflo Dollars? Where the fuck are the TD Jakes? These guys are celebrities of the highest form, and they make money off of people giving them donations. So they're actually receiving money from people. And I don't see a unified front amongst these gentlemen who are celebrities in the eyes of the gospel world is, and they have not had a unified front for the group that's suffering. And where are they at? She should have been calling their ass out instead of leaving statements so open and blank for people like J. Cole to interpret them.
In my opinion, they have a bigger responsibility than a rapper and an
exactly.
entertainer.
Yeah, they do.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
a rapper and an entertainer is an artist, and they are doing it. They right. So that dude right there, his whole purpose is to serve the community. So if you ain't if you ain't out here in these streets, yeah. That's why we fucked up, man. We looking at the wrong motherfuckers.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I don't like how her statement targeted celebrities. Target the people who should be held responsible.
That's bullshit. Hold everybody responsible.
Excuse
me. Two peas in a pod. They all false prophets.
They're not two peas in a pod.
They all being false prophets. And look, I would like to say J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, everybody I mentioned. I respect y'all. I love y'all music. It's not personal. I just don't respect your silence at this point because your silence is what built your career. K-Dot, you have all these awards. You won Grammys because of your lyrics, the things you spoke about, the racism, the slavery, the things you spoke about. So I hold you accountable when times like this happen in real time. I need to hear from you. And if you don't feel like you're qualified to speak, so fucking well. Say something anyway.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next topic.
Yeah,
we're gonna get redundant.
Very spirited.
With that, very spirited. All right, that was a lot of fun.
You guys were going at it for
man.
That was a lot of fun. All right, so we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna go to something a little more lighthearted because you motherfuckers are spirited right now. Okay.
He'll be pissing me off.
Let's do this, man. Let's do this. And I think this could be funny.
Can I just say something right quick?
No.
Please. I'm changing the subject.
Muted up in this. No.
The subject. I just want to say something that Eric looks like Morpheus and Victor looks like Neo. If anybody that's looking at this video, it looks like the Matrix right now. I just want to beat that out.
All right. I'm gonna move
on. My bad.
I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna do this. I'm curious because Chris, you were very active in the last discussion, and having known you over the course of the last 6 or 7 years, you know, you have definitely grown as a person, and I'm proud of you, which is gonna allow me to ask this question to you and allow other people to answer this question as well. How do you know if you love someone?
Oh shit!
Because to my knowledge, you know, from what I've heard over the last couple of episodes and segments that we've done, you know, it would appear that there's a love interest around, and I just.
Who's fucking it, Jeffrey? The boy's in love.
I just feel like we need to help about these things.
Isaac curveball the fuck out his ass.
I know. So, Chris, can you explain to me what exactly makes you think that love is in the air?
Damn. Y'all like putting me on blast, man.
Listen, I'm point guarding right now. Let's do this. Let's go.
Warriors, Papa.
So the question was actually, how do you know when you're in love, right?
Right.
Yep. But I think you are. So go for it.
Well, so I think for me, I know I'm in love, or I know I fell in love. Since you guys want to put me on blast all the time, is when you genuinely think about a person, when you genuinely care about a person, just beyond anything that you can benefit from. Just on a random day. Just on a random day when you're at work and you just having a random thought about a person, they're just on your mind, and you're wondering what they're doing, you know, what they're up to, how they're feeling, if they're okay, what they're looking like right now. When you're smitten by somebody.
Smitten, all right.
You're smitten.
All right, he is smitten.
Boy.
Watching television until television go off.
You know what I'm saying? It get real when you catch yourself, taking a little couple sips and listening to music, and you start getting in your feelings a little bit. The brick wall kind of goes down sometimes, and that's when you really love a person when they're able to penetrate your brick wall, the surface.
It makes you vulnerable.
Penetrate.
Pause.
I wasn't going down that road, but it makes you vulnerable.
You was on a roll.
Hi, Rihanna.
But I don't think she's gonna approve of Rihanna.
She already has. That's my hall pass.
Okay.
That's on my hall pass, yeah.
So how do you, because you other guys, you guys are married. Guys and gals, of course. I say guys and gals. I apologize. You guys are married. So how do you feel about this? How do you know that you love someone? Open forum.
That's a good question. My husband wore me down, actually. He told me that was going to be his wife, and I was like,
she got tackled on the 5.
Where is fine? Like a lot of women, right? Like a lot of women, you hear the story a lot. This is a common story, actually, with women. Like I wasn't really paying attention to him, but he was like, "Nah, you're gonna be my wife." I'm like, I'm never getting married. It ain't happening. And here I am. But I think I got to a point. We were really, really good friends. We were really good friends. I mean, still are, obviously. But it got to the point where I used to look forward to like talking to him all the time and just going wherever we would go. We would go to like Burger King, and it would be some of the best night ever, just sitting at Burger King talking, or go bowling. Like it didn't have to be fancy, it didn't have to be a lot of money, but I was just happy to just chill with him. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that there was something. The whole love thing, I never really know how you can figure when love is for sure. You can love somebody, but I mean that like deep love, that starts to grow with time, I think. I didn't think that at first. See, before I was married, I was like, oh, I'm falling in love, I'm in love. But when you've been married for years, you realize that a lot of that shit just grows over time. To be very honest.
Well, Dion, to piggyback what you were just saying, that's how I knew my girlfriend was in love with me. Because I straight up asked her one day, like, are you in love with me? Because she kept making a point, because I'm the type of dude, I hate with a passion talking on the phone. I hate talking on the phone.
Same here. Yeah, I don't like it either.
And we used to butt heads about that a lot. We still do. And she was just like, man, I just want you to be on the phone, even if you sit silent, even if you say nothing. Even though she's still gonna complain because she
wants your presence.
But yeah, she just wants your presence.
She just wants your presence.
Those were the thoughts
of me.
Chris Gibbs. And
yes, I get a little sexy sometimes. I love y'all ladies though. But yeah, but that's how I knew. And I asked her one day when she said that, I said, "Are you in love with me?" Because just to want to be in somebody's presence like that, and we live miles away, that showed me something. So that's when I knew.
I'll just say this. I've been in this game for years.
Baby and animal.
Go ahead and talk to him.
There's rules to this shit.
There's rules to this shit.
I wrote me a manual.
No, listen.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
I think when it comes to love, I think the thing is, if you can describe why you love someone, then you probably don't love them. Because love is such
Chris real happy.
Love is such an irrational emotion. Like you have no idea why you love. You'll find yourself in love with someone with some flaws that you would think that you would never accept in your life. But you love this person, and there's no rhyme or reason as to why. It's just that you cannot describe it. It's undescribable.
It's a hell of a description.
The reason why I'm so excited that Eric said that is because I've literally been having this conversation with my girlfriend. She hits me up a lot, and she gets mad when I don't respond. She always asks me, Christopher, why do you love me? And I tell her back, because I love you.
It's just the way it is.
It's not a list of
Wow.
description of things. It's not a criteria of why I love you. I love you because I love you, and love should come
She's
natural.
really asking. All right, I'm gonna give y'all some game. What she's really
put me on
asking
game.
you is, why are you with me? Which is different than why do you love me. So she wants to know, why are you there? Because you want to be there. Because you like talking to her. Because you, yeah, that's really what it is. Why are you with me?
That shit hit you like a cannonball.
It does.
I got that. What?
See, I
Do
get
you
more
love me? It's
questions.
easy. Why are you with me, P? Why are you with me, Vic? Shit. Hit you at the wrong time, you be fucked up with that one.
Yeah, because every time she said, look, I get both questions. That's the fucked up part. And every time she says that, I say fate. I say fate put us together. I don't know what to say. I just say fate. I take
You keep saying fate. She gonna keep asking you.
Hey, let me say this. Let me say this. So the question was, how do you know? Right? Not what love is, but how do you know? So here's the thing, right? I agree with I agree with everything, Dion, that you fucking said in the form that love is not defined, and what Eric said is true. Love is not defined. You can't define it. That's why it's such a crazy fucking. I'm willing to sacrifice things that I normally wouldn't for anyone else, and I'm willing to sacrifice things for this individual. That's when there's a glitch in the matrix. That's when you know that there's butterflies in the stomach and you feeling some shit you don't normally feel. So for me personally, that's happened 3 times in my life. I think I've been in love 3 times in my life. My first, my second, and my wife. And every time, all 3 times, I've went outside of myself and changed my mannerisms and changed the way I move and sacrificed things to spend more time with that person. And when that happens in my life, or when that happens, like typically, that's when you know
that's different. When you know you're whipped.
Different.
Guys could listen.
Vic says, $40.
But with that, those are all our topics. So,
wow, and it's
it has been a absolutely wonderful podcast. I've enjoyed speaking
absolutely all the time. Let's give a shout out to all our new subscribers. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all showing the love.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the support. Keep tuning in. And you know, we love spending time with y'all.
And please make sure to share, subscribe, and laugh.
And press the lavishing like button on YouTube. Thank you.